Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to the Midweek Takeaway. Today we're joined by Mark Routh, CEO of Prospex Energy. Welcome back, Mark. How's things?
Yes, good afternoon. Thanks for chatting to me. Things are going well. We're very pleased with the announcement we fielded this morning.
Very good, yeah. The announcement that the operator of the Selva Malvezzi production concession, in which Prospex has a 37% working interest, signed a gas sales agreement with BP Gas Marketing Ltd. This clearly marks a significant milestone. Do you want to take us through this news, please, Mark?
Yes, well, remember, for small companies, selling their gas and getting the money for their production is a very important step. And it's incredibly important to have a valid and solid gas buyer to buy your gas. And you can't get better than BP Gas Marketing. They're based in Canary Wharf. I've known them for many years. I was very pleased that Po Valley has signed up a contract with them to buy the gas from the joint venture. We're selling it jointly between Po Valley and Prospex, where Po Valley is 63% and Prospex is 37% in the license. We're selling it jointly, and it's going to be based on a related price to the Dutch TTF, Title Transfer Facility, which is quoted publicly. And it's going to be related to that price, minus the transportation charges for SNAM, the grid, and a small margin for BP Gas Marketing.
Very good. So, as you said, you couldn't really get a much bigger name, and obviously reliability in payments. What sort of revenue do you expect from that over the coming years on a monthly and annual basis, Mark?
Well, one thing we're finding is that the gas price in Europe is quite volatile. It's been going up and down hugely in the past weeks. I gave a presentation at the Proactive Investor Conference just at the end of January. I presented some cash flow graphs there, cash flow basically from the Selva field, when it gets into production. And based on the TTF forward curve gas prices, we're looking at between 5 and 8 million euros per year net to Prospex, net of tax, net of royalties. Now, the gas prices come off slightly since I did that presentation in January, but we're looking at, in that kind of region, 5 to 8 million euros per year of cash flow from the existing suspended well in Selva, and that's before we do any further drilling or any further production.
And the anticipation is that you will increase this gas supply by exploring further the gas field, which obviously there's gas there, so it's a case of doubling, trebling that amount. Do you envisage in time?
That's what we hope to do. Yes, we've got 3 things to drill in on the concession. The difference is the concession is now a production concession. So all we need to permit is the individual wells. We don't have to permit the entire concession because that's already been granted. We've got 3 structures there: Selva North, Selva South, and East Selva. Selva North and South have been drilled before, and although they're smaller, they are actually already contingent resources, just needing a well to get them developed. East Selva is a prospect. We look at it, and it's about a 35 billion cubic feet gross. So it's a larger structure, and will be larger than the Selva field that we're about to develop, which is only 13 BCF. So we have some upside coming, and we are going to hope to be getting the permits to drill those in late 2024.
2023?
No, late 2024, probably, by the time we get drilling.
You're going to drill them. You're going to drill them in late 2024, but you will get the permits when? The same time, or it's
the permits? We hope the permits are going to come through this year, and we'll hope to get into production in 2024. I'm being a bit conservative in there. It just takes time for permits to come through.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously with the cash flow from these gas sales, then there isn't going to be any call on requiring money to do these things.
Well, the cash flow indeed should be funding the drilling and the developments. These wells are not deep and they're onshore, so they cost between 1 and 3 million euros gross. So the cash flow from the Selva production is going to mean that we will be able to fund the developments without doing any capital fundraisers by issuing new shares.
Very good. And then you could be in a situation where, I mean, if these come in, are we talking that a company producing sort of 15 to 20 million euros a year free cash flow?
It could be like that. Obviously, quite a few things have got to fall into place all at once before we get to those numbers. But that certainly is the aspiration. And we're hoping to be reinvesting that in other developments and other business development opportunities.
Very good. Tell us a little bit about what else is happening in Prospect Energy then, other than the gas.
Well, we have, of course, the gas producing asset in Spain near Carmona, which is just east of Seville. We have a gas power plant which is producing electricity from the gas we produce there. We are permitting 5 further wells on the Romeral concessions in order to get the gas into the power plant, because the power plant at the moment is only operating at 30% capacity. One of the 3 generators running at any one time, because we don't have enough gas to put into the generators. So what's happening there is that we are permitting 5 more wells, any 2 of which could get us to 100% capacity. And if we have all 5 of them come in, which is likely, we are going to have more gas than we can burn. So we either expand the power plant or we export the gas to the local grid. And just to round off on what's happening, because it's quite busy in Spain, we're installing a solar farm adjacent to the plant, a 5 megawatt solar farm on 20 hectares of land that we've leased adjacent to the power plant to hook that up to the grid in order to boost the income and the revenue from the field. And that is already out to tender, and we hope to get that going within 18 months.
Sure. So while we're on the subject of Spain and El Romeral, Mark, obviously there was an announcement that came out as the fact that Hancock officially took 52% majority ownership of Warrego. Obviously, them being the partner in Spain, owning the 50.1%. So, do you want to give us? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, firstly, I believe that they have recently moved to almost 80% of Warrego now. So the takeover is when, not if. Hancock Energy is a very large mining company in Western Australia. I've met the people. Obviously, I have a dual hat here because I am currently a non-exec director of Warrego. That might not last for very much longer. But I've met the people there. They are digesting what they have acquired in Western Australia, which is a very large asset, which is what the whole takeover was about. When it comes to concentrating on Spain, they will turn their hand to that when they've digested the major piece. Remember, the Spanish assets for Warrego represents a few percent of their entire portfolio. So they will look at that when the time comes. In the meantime, the management of Warrego as it stands is continuing on, and the attitude by Warrego is that it's business as usual in Prospex and Tarba Energia, which is the subsidiary co-owned with Warrego, and Tarba Energia is the operator in Spain. It's business as usual there, and any investment decisions on the solar panels, the future drilling, is all being funded by Warrego and being supported by the joint venture partnership between Warrego and Prospex.
Very good. So I don't want to put words into your mouth, but is it a possibility then that you will get first refusal if they choose to divest their interest as it's non-core for themselves?
Well, it's all a matter of price, isn't it? If they want to sell the asset and it's a huge number, maybe we'll sell at that number too. But if they're selling it for a low number, then we'd like to buy it at that number. It's all going to depend on the future attitude toward the asset. My belief is that Hancock Energy will want to continue on with the joint venture as a 50-50 roughly joint venture partnership in Tarba Energia. And I think we will work and continue to work very well as a joint venture partnership to the benefit of both owners. What will happen to the ownership in the future? Who knows? It's anything can be up for grabs, but I can't predict which way it'll go. But in the meantime, we're just continuing on with all the business development opportunities we have in and around El Romeral.
And Mark, just so people understand the scale of it, if you were to get the gas generation to electricity up to 100%, what sort of revenues would be coming from that?
Oh, I wasn't quite prepared for that question, but I'm going to have to make a little bit of a guess on that. I mean, we'll allow you a guess. No, that's fine. We're currently generating around 200,000 euros per month gross Okay.
This is to you or the whole project?
This is the whole project. That's a gross number. So at the moment, that's half of that is to Prospex. So 100,000 euros per month net to Prospex. That could triple if we get to full capacity in the power plant. Now, that's based on the current electricity prices, which have been going up and down between 50 euros per megawatt hour, and it peaked at around 300 or 400 euros per megawatt hour last March. So it goes up and down a lot, but we're currently averaging gross around 200,000 euros per month. So that's 100,000 net to Prospex. And with at 30% at the moment, if we go to full capacity, that's 300,000 per month net to Prospex.
Okay, so we're talking anything from 2.5 maybe to 4 million euros per annum, if depending on electricity prices, obviously.
Yes, that's right.
So somewhere in that region. And would there be an additional add-on for the solar power as well?
Yes, well, the solar power is going to be funded from cash flow and also bank debt, because it's much easier to fund that kind of thing when the banks can actually see the asset on the ground. I don't expect there to be a requirement for equity funding of that solar project. And remember, we're 50-50 with Origo on this, or Hancock now. I think that, yes, that kind of cash flow coming from Spain as well is going to put Prospex in a very solid position as we move forward. And people were going to say, what are you going to do with that cash? And well, we'll be growing organically, and we will be looking at business development opportunities. And
you might even give some back to the shareholders.
I couldn't rule that out, but to be honest with you, I've not been in a company where that's been able to happen that fast. But hey, this is Prospex, and some unexpected things have happened in the past year and a half that I've been actually the CEO.
Excellent. Well, it all sounds very exciting. The share price today didn't really react very positively to the news, not particularly negative either. But I think when it starts to sink in, this company has huge potential going forward, and this is only the first step on the track, if you like, that they'll start to realize this could keep on going and going. So good luck and keep the good work up.
We look forward to first gas and welcoming you back on the show to discuss that, Mark. So thanks very much for your time.
Yes, well, hopefully that'll be on schedule in early April.
Mark Routh, CEO of Prospex Energy. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
This podcast was brought to you by Roast PR Limited. If you would like to appear on a future episode of The Sunday Roast, please email admin@thesundayroast.net.